Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Intuitive Queens podcast. I'm your host, Mara Marchesi, aka the Intuition Queen. I am here to empower women, entrepreneurs, and creative souls to trust their intuition and tune into their freedom and abundance frequency. I'm here to help you release fears, limiting beliefs, blockages that might stand in the way of being your powerful self and truly help you create the life that you desire, whatever that is. I believe in following our personal guidance, which is our intuition, and really knowing to understand what is our personal strategy, energetic strategy, so that we can create the life based on our own needs and not what other people are saying. So, in this podcast, this is what you're going to find a lot of guests that shared their story, how they started to trust their intuition and eventually created a life that is resonating with their soul and found their purpose. And you will also find a lot of tips, and I will share stories about how I overcame my obstacles, my fears, so that you can be empowered and inspired to do the same. Okay, so in this episode, I have a very important guest for me. She is one of my clients. She became a friend, and we worked together on my 6 month program, which actually became eventually a 9 month program because she wanted to renew. If you've been listening to season 3 of the podcast, you probably heard me talking about a 12 session program called Inner Freedom. But as I was working to put it on the website, because I didn't have it on the website before, I realized Inner Freedom doesn't really tell the story. So the name of the program, it's called The Courage to Be Yourself, transforming fears into authentic confidence. And I will talk to you about this program as we move forward. This episode is an interview to my client. She came to me because she felt she had lost control of her life, in a sense of lost control of her emotions, and everything around her was kind of not going well. And therefore, this was creating more fear and more anxiety. And so we started working together. She signed up for this course. We worked together. So before I dive, I let you hear from her what it means to work with me on this program, The Courage to Be Yourself. I want to tell you a little bit what this program is about. It's a one-on-one healing and coaching program where I put together everything that I've learned all over those years, things that I learned for my clients and things that I did for myself. If you've listened to me before, if you know me, you know I'm someone that does a lot of inner work. I am the first person that does the work for me, and then I share with my clients as I move along, because I truly believe that doing inner work is the most powerful and the best way you can invest money and time in yourself to improve your life. And I know it works so much for me, and I know it works so much for my clients. So this program is a 12 session journey, and you can either do it over a space of 6 months or 3 months. It depends how much the frequency works for you. And you will get a lot of guidance, support, and tools to help you overcome fears and release the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back from whatever it is that you're going through. You will work closely with me and will guide you to release fears, and we will do some healing. As you know, I do color therapy sessions and human design and Reiki there and meditations. There's so much I've learned through the years. Some of the things that I've learned I'm not offering as sessions because I feel it's not necessary right now. But there are so many techniques that I use for myself, that I use with my clients. And this is what this 12 session program is all about, to help you release anything that is blocking you, from fear to feel confidence, from feeling stuck to feeling in flow. For me, it's all about getting to know where you're at, and then learning to understand what is blocking you so you can move forward. And in this process, we will also learn to help you understand who you are right now. because we have all felt trapped of trying to fit in because we didn't want to disappoint our parents. We didn't want to upset our parents or society, or we wanted to fit in a certain group, so we follow a certain way. And in doing that, the majority of us, all of us, have taken away a piece of our power in order to please someone else. And I want to help you to take back that power and fully shine in your own right, so that you can actually have relationships that are meaningful, that are loving. You can learn to love yourself. You can find worth in yourself. Self-worth is one of the biggest problem we have. We don't believe we're worthy of love or success or whatever it is that we're looking for. And this is what this program it's all about. And I will help you to understand your energy, how energy works, how you can raise your frequency, how you can do things in a way that pump you up so that you can attract and create what you want, and you can attract more opportunities. You can attract more people that are like-minded. You can attract energies that are matching your high vibration. So this is what this program is about. And it's by application. I don't work with everybody, so you won't be able to just sign in for my program just paying for it. I want to have a chat with you. I want to understand who you are and how committed to work you are, because this program, I will transform your life. I can promise you that. I will help you to release a lot of the shit that is going on in your life right now. Whatever fears, we all have it. I know personally, I've done so much work on myself, and I know that my life has changed just because I released fears I didn't know I had. I didn't know I didn't have self-worth. I had self-confidence, maybe, but not much self-worth. So those are the topics that we will be working on. And in that, you can go on my website and check out exactly a lot of things that we will be working on. But as I was saying, this is by application. So if you apply for it, there are a few questions you need to answer, and then we'll have a chat. And once you're ready, we'll go for it. I only want to work with people that are ready, that really, really want to transform their lives, because this is deep healing work. And sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, but once you finish and once you move forward, you will see how important it is for your life, for your loved ones, for everything around you, for you to do this work, because everything is going to shift. And you're going to release all the things you don't need, all the things that are no longer for you, and you're going to start to attract more of what you want. Okay, so if you are interested in this program, The Courage to Be Yourself, and you're ready to have the courage to be yourself, there is a link in the show notes where you can actually apply. It's on my website, theintuitionqueen.com, and there is a tab about this program. Just go there, fill in the form, apply for it, and I will get back to you. We'll have a chat. And if you feel I'm the right person for you to take you on this journey, I'll be so honored. Okay, now, this is an interview with my client, Giorgia, where I just simply ask her a few questions so that she can take you on a journey and explain in her own words what it means to go through this program, and how she felt at the beginning and how she's feeling now that we finished and she has shifted her life. All right, let's get in. And welcome from your intuition queen for a new episode of Intuitive Queens. Today I'm really, really excited because I have a very special guest for me. She has become a friend of mine, but before becoming a friend of mine, the first thing that she did was becoming one of my clients. And we worked together for 9 months in the end. And I am really happy to interview my friend and client, Giorgia Kelly, because I wanted to hear from her perspective what it meant being where she was, and how things have changed and shifted after 9 months working together. So welcome, Giorgia.
Thank you, Mara. I'm very excited, and I apologize in advance for my pronunciation. I'm not as good as Mara, so forgive me.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So Georgia, I wanted to start with so we started working together in November 2022, and you kept asking me questions knowing what I was doing, and then at some point we started having a chat and you decided to work with me. I want to understand, what was the situation, what were you going through in that moment of your life to made you want to look for someone to work with?
So I was basically feeling not connected with myself. Uh, I was feeling unsatisfied with my life, although on paper I had a great life, you know. But then work became to be a bit, yeah, like every day was the same. I wasn't feeling empowered. So I was feeling a bit depressed in a way. And then you arrived, of course, to the office. And I immediately, I was, first, I was admiring straight away your self-confidence and your badass attitude. Can I say the word badass?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Badass attitude. And I was like, wow, this girl she has a very good self-esteem, you know, and that what I was lacking. You know, I was just doing what other people thought for me. You know, I was like a people pleaser, and when you are not confident enough, it's very risky to be a people pleaser because you end up living other people's life, not your own life.
Mhm.
And so I was really attracted by this personality. And also I admire the fact that you I'm not gonna say your age, I shouldn't. Well, it's like
Oh, you can. I keep saying
okay,
it on the podcast, so you can.
okay, at 40 years old. Well, I'm 40 this year as well, so you know. You kind of like reinvented yourself and you just went for it, well, a few years ago, but like you have your business now and you just, you know, you're just working and see forward. And I really like that determination and the, you know, the willpower. You wanted to do something, you just do it, you know, day by day. And so I was like, yes, I want to give this girl a chance. You know, I was giving myself a chance. By the same time, I wanted to give you a chance because I really admire you. You know, so I was like, let's give each other a chance because I'm not in a good place. I really want her to, you know, I wanted to both to kind of feeling the woman power. You see what I mean? At that specific moment. But of course, at the same time, I realized how bad I was and how much I needed your help. And so we met for the first chat. And it was really, really useful. I when I think of it, I feel like I'm another person from,
Good.
you know, from our lunch.
Yeah. Would you mind explaining what exactly was going on with you? Like, where were, because you mentioned not feeling satisfied about your life, and obviously work was the same over again, and you were working in a very dysfunctional place, so that didn't help. Um, but what exactly was going on, that, and how long had that been going on? Was that something that you realized at some point, maybe before you met, or was that a feeling that had been going on for a very long time and you just got to a point where you had enough?
I think it was going on for a long time, possibly, probably a long time. Um, and then I think you arrive at a point where you're just tired of listening to other people. Maybe is also connected with this like middle-age crisis. I think
Mhm.
is something that exists.
Yeah.
You know, you women especially, they're kind of weak. they're not weak, but they grow, you know, with this kind of
Mhm.
system. And so I think you arrive at 40 years old after you grow. I have a daughter, so you kind of annulating yourself, like you don't exist for a period of time when you have a child,
Yeah.
because of course the child is the priority, his life is a priority, so you need to kind of just focus on him or her. And then you grow more, you know, more stressed, and you disconnect even more from yourself. And then when the child is old enough, then you're like, wow, I did that, you know, I make this person safe enough to be like almost independent. I mean, she's 6, she's not independent, but like I have the time to actually start my life again. And I
Mhm.
was like, if this is my life, it's good, but it's just not good enough, you know.
Right.
I can be
Right.
better, you know. I want to be better. I don't want to be, you know, that's this great, how you call it, something in the middle, you know, the same as
Average?
everybody. Yes, I don't want to be average. I don't want to, just because people don't take chances and they don't have the will to change their lives, it doesn't matter that I don't, and I will, you know. And I think you were the perfect match for me, because I really lack, I think the biggest problem was that I lack of self-confidence, and it's very common in women, you know, because also of the society, you know, how it was built.
Yeah. Okay, so at that point, you feel like, okay, I see this person. She has all the things that I want to have, and she has all the behavior that I wish I had. Um, what what was your connection? Did you have any connection with your intuition when we started working together? What was that like for you? Did you know what that was?
Not really. I never been very spiritual, or I thought I wasn't. And, you know, I didn't really believe in any sort of thing. So I was a very practical person. I still am a practical person, but now I'm also connected to my intuition. And um, now it's incredible. I got so many kind of signs through my dreams. To be honest, I always dreamed. So I always had this kind of message from
Dreams.
my sleep. But then lately less. And after starting with you, our path together, I started to, of course, you recommended meditation, and I started to visualize things, and things in my dream just came more frequently, and I was remembering them, and it was really like something out of this world, let's say. um, so yes, I wasn't connecting to myself. I wasn't connected to myself. um, that's what I missed.
Okay, and was that something surprising for you to understand that you could receive messages through your dreams? And you also were, I just remember the first time that I gave you meditation to do during the session, and you were extremely aware, which I didn't really expect because of the way you talked to me about it. It didn't feel like I knew you were intuitive. I knew you were very intuitive and you're also very creative. But at the same time, I wasn't sure if you would be that receptive straight away. And you were, because we did a meditation and you started going places. I was like, okay, wow, she's awake.
Mhm.
And then it turned out that you also receive messages through animals and stuff. Was that something that surprised you, scared you? How did you feel realizing that you had that depth of connection between yourself and the universe?
Yeah, I was very surprised, but I wasn't scared, because it was something that I knew it was for my own good. I think the intuition is just something that is within you and is just guiding you for your best. So I wasn't afraid or anything. But yes, it was quite shocking in a good way. Um, on the other hand, I wanted to be open, you know, despite me not being particularly spiritual. I thought, I'm starting this journey with Mara. Let's give her 100% trust, because otherwise, what's the point? You know, if you don't fully embrace this journey, if you're not sure, you can't see any changes. You need to go like a, like a bulldozer, through it. So no, it was amazing. I remember our first meeting, and we have this meditation, and then you asked me, where do you feel the energy? And I said, on my hand. And then I was like, yeah, of course, because all my life, I'm always doing things with my hand, you know adjusting a bulb, fixing the fences. I took a massage course when I was in Italy, so I was doing massage for 5 years, so everything was very, like, everything connected. And I was like, wow, and she gave me already like an answer after the first lesson, the first session. So yeah.
Okay, so I just want to understand a little bit your process, because you felt stuck in pretty much everything at that point. And yes, okay, like we had a first session and things started to move for you, but we worked together for 9 months in the end, because the program is 6 months, and then you decided to add 3 months to kind of complete the whole thing. um and we did a lot of work about your inner child and what was really blocking you, and there was a lot of work on releasing the people pleasing aspect of that. What do you think was the thing that was making you behave like a people pleaser? Why would you always be there for others? What was that thing that will get you to be there for other and not necessarily for yourself?
I think it's really connected with the lack of confidence. Um, Probably because I grow, my brother is 3 years older than me, and he's always been a great kid, and he was studying a lot. He's very successful. He's a very successful doctor, in a pediatrician hospital, in a pediatric hospital, pardon. Um, so I kind of subconsciously always feeling that comparison, and
Mm-hmm.
the parental style of our parents, or the friends even, okay,
Yeah.
you're so good, like, and indirectly I wasn't feeling like good enough, and I was choosing the college because I wanted also to deliver the same kind of
Mm,
results, but I wasn't him. I'm not him. So, in fact, I wanted to do the art school, which
mm-hmm.
of course I'm not regretting anything, because I'm happy with the outcome anyway. But yes, I think the people pleasing thing, it's really connected with the fact that we don't love ourselves enough. Because when you love yourself enough, you start put boundaries, and so you're
Yes.
not a people pleaser anymore. You just behave as an equal of the other person. You're not less than the other person, you are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I can make you a favor if it doesn't disrupt my freedom, you know
Right.
um,
How
whereas
difficult
before,
was for you to set boundaries for yourself?
how difficult. Oh, it was
Mm.
very difficult. I'm still learning. I'm still
What do you
learning.
think was the most difficult part? Oh, who do you think was the most difficult person to set boundaries with?
For sure is the people that you know already. because the mechanisms are there and they're really hard to break, you know.
Right.
People know you for, you know, for what you are. So they will, and also you kind of feel you need to justify the change of behavior, whereas you actually don't, because people change, you know, you're not the same as 10 years ago. But yes, I found it difficult to break this habit, you know, of always being there for people, always, you know, provide for people, always being a mom for people, which that I shouldn't be, you know. So like mixing the title, if you. And so yes, that I think I'm still struggling, but it's a matter of practice and also getting organized, you know. Just planning in advance is very important, because when you are aware and when you plan in advance, then you will do. But if you
So
don't
do you mean boundary in this case, are you meaning boundaries with yourself, or you meaning if I have things to do, then I know that I can say no because I actually have things to do?
exactly. So in that sense, the second one. So when, for example, I don't know, your parents come to visit, and then of course the routine is a bit disrupted, but you still have things to do, but you don't have an actual job yet, but you still need to kind of do your things. But then when they come, you're like, oh, I need to entertain them, you know. And besides, okay, the work can wait. It can't really wait, can it? Like, not fair. Otherwise everything is delayed, and then you're growing more resentful to yourself. I mean, first you're resentful with them, which is not really their fault, you know. You can't blame others because you're not able to put boundaries. And then you're resentful to yourself. Say, why are you again repeating the same pattern, you know? You can tell them, you know, look, I have this the week, so I'm gonna be away for that time, and if things changes, or if you feel something is not right, if you feel you want to spend more time because maybe they're getting older and you really want to, then you can always cancel, you know. You can always say, okay, look, I had that, but I prefer to spend a couple of hours with you, you know. It's better to prevent, I think.
Right. Okay. So when do you think there was a shift? Because I know when I feel you really shifted, but I kind of wanted to have your opinion about it because we did quite a lot of work together. We did quite a lot of inner child healing and mindset work. But I'm curious to know, for you, when was that moment where you were like, oh, now I feel like there's been a major shift within me?
Oh my God, that was a big revelation, I think. As you said, we work on many things. I remember I had a meditation, but I didn't know much about crystals and stuff, and I was using this green crystal. I don't know the name still. It was
Malachite.
Big green crystal, and then I was having this meditation, and I was thinking about my husband, and you know how the relationship, you know, like wasn't so like good. And then I started, like, a joke came into my mind about, he made a joke a few years back, and then just this joke came into my mind, and then I start to laugh first, and then I start to cry, and I felt like so grateful to have him, you know. And I suddenly think, oh my God, he has so many qualities, you know, and I'm complaining about things that I can control. I just need to be more I just need to respect myself more, you know.
Right.
And then they will come automatically. I need just to set some boundaries and it will be fine. And then that was a big help, because, you know, I was really like on the verge, like I was finishing my patience, you know, towards him. And it happens very often, especially, you know, after you have a kid, the relationship changes a lot, and you're disconnected with your partner. You don't get to talk much. You're at home all day. So it's not, we weren't in a I mean, we weren't that bad, but we weren't in a very good place. You know, we were arguing and I wasn't feeling happy. He also probably wasn't feeling happy, also about, you know, my reactions. I was very, very reactive. And also that was one, of course, one revelation. The other problem I had, and it was a problem that I came to you to sort it out, which was very important, even more important than my self-confidence, was that I have for many, many years these always tragic scenarios playing in my head. So, for example, I was going on holiday and all of a sudden I was thinking, oh my God, we are in the car gonna crash, we all gonna die, you know? Or like every time I take a plane, I say plane is gonna crash. Like, why would you think that? You know, the chances are very slim, you know, why are you intoxicating your mind with this? And I couldn't help. It was like a pattern. Every time I felt happy, straight away I was sabotaging. Can I say sabotaging?
Sabotaging your mind, yeah.
My mind, yes.
But you were it's
My
kind of
happiness.
like you weren't allowing yourself to feel that happiness. It's kind of like you had to do something to take that away.
Yes, exactly. And so that was the first reason why I wanted also to, you know, I wanted to sort that out. I mean, you know, can you imagine the feeling when you are, I don't know, maybe if you're lucky enough, you're 70 years old, 80 years old, and you think, oh, I had an amazing life. I just ruined my life with my thoughts. I mean, no, I didn't want that to happen. And so I start kind of practice that with you, you know, with the meditation, you know, you were like, okay, Giorgia, don't go there, go back, you know. So but it's a training. You need to train your mind. And most of all, you need to know where does it come from, you know, why you have this kind of thought process. And then I have a dream, which I usually have this dream quite often in my life. I never know why until you enlighten me. So I was always dreaming my mom dead but dead always usually like in the water. Come si annegato? I don't know how you say.
Drowning?
Yeah, exactly. And so I had this dream and we talk about this dream during our session. And I think you thought Georgia is ready now. But she had this like a message from her intuition. And then basically it come out that which was something, by the way, that I knew. My mom had a bit of depression when I was probably 5 or 6. Her mom wasn't a great character, and then so she was suffering a bit of depression, and so I think we found out, we understand together that I lived that moment as my mom passed away, basically. It was a bit of a trauma for me because my mom was there, and then after she got depressed, she was there physically, but she wasn't there for us
emotionally. Yeah,
wasn't there emotionally. I totally understand that, and I have nothing to kind of recriminate or just, you know, it's a very nasty illness, you know, when you are depressed. It's nothing to be how can I say, ashamed about. But it was super helpful for me to understand that all these scenarios were just a memory, you know, and it was my way of dealing with that. I just gave the explanation. So myself child, myself young was just saying to, okay, mommy's not there. So she's there, but then she's not there. So she's kind of dead. Dead. And I think it was a bit critical because it was probably, I was in a happy probably moment, and then this happened, and then it was like all of a sudden, like I kind of wasn't happy anymore, maybe, or just, and then I couldn't allow me to be kind of happy again, probably since that trauma. And then all these kind of bad scenarios were starting getting in my mind, but not straight away from 5 years old. Like I started, something triggered that scenarios, by the way. Something triggered them because unfortunately I was watching a film and there was a mom that received a phone call during the middle of the night, and the mom was like, it's my son, something happened to my son. And the guy on the other line saying, no, I'm sorry, it's the wrong number. But don't you know that the accident never happens when you expect them? And then it opened all these like
And
bad
how old were
doors.
you when this
I
happened?
was about 22,
Mm.
22, 25, because I was in university. Yes, I was about that age, 25. So quite late, luckily, but that really triggered that memory. And since then, I was just expecting the worst for
Mm.
everything, after that movie. So that movie triggered that.
It's
It opened a
incredible
one.
how a sentence
Yes,
awakened something within you that was already there.
yes, I have goosebumps now that I'm thinking about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with you, we did a lot of work because obviously your mom had a mother, and so we did some ancestral healing, but that wasn't necessarily the focus of working together. I think that the big shift was exactly when we realized that the mechanism that you were having was due to you deciding that your mom was dead because it was just easier for you to cope when you were younger, and therefore you decided not to allow yourself to be happy because of what she'd gone through. Um, what I'd like to understand is, so you were working when we started working together, and you were tired, but at the same time there wasn't that thing like I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It was just more like I need to figure myself out. I need to learn to manage my emotions and things like that. At some point, a few months after we started working together, you decided to leave your job and enter a new career which is more creative and it's more aligned to yourself. And how was that moment for you, and what made you feel like, okay, now I can do this? Because we talked about that before, but you didn't feel ready to do it. What was that thing for you that was like, okay, now?
Yes, as you said, it was quite difficult because you don't know who you are, you know. So that's the main thing. You need to think, okay, what do you enjoy most to do? And that's what I also like about the fact that you were giving me homework, like just do the stuff that you love and and see what is, what's the best for you. And so I started doing that, and I started really, so I can't really say probably a specific moment. When I think it was more gradual,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the that kind of weight that I removed, the realization of the depression, and this mechanism, this cope mechanism, that was a revelation. And I was shocked for 10 days. I was in disbelief for 10
Mm-hmm.
days. I was called, I mean, I remember I was spamming you saying, Mara, it's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling so like light and like, anyway. So that was more like a moment, revelation, like the meditation I had with the green
Yeah,
stone.
because that was the shift where the old version of Georgia left and the new version was coming through, and so you were in that in between space where you were no longer the person you used to be, but you weren't yet the new version of yourself, and so that was confusing. I remember that.
Yes. Yes, I felt a bit emptied,
Mm-hmm.
um whereas the process of understanding what I liked, I think it was more of a journey. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
understood slowly. And there wasn't really a moment. Of course, you rightly, you kind of push me to kind of start. And so I started, not a business, I started the passion of photography, and I started with street photography, which is very, very creative. And that was something that I really missed, you know, because as I said, I had to choose the scientific lyceum, although I wanted to the art school. And then, so I was missing out all this creativity life that I wanted. And so I opened the Instagram account, although I was a bit like, oh, but it's not perfect. But then you can never wait to be perfect, because you will never be perfect, but you need to start. And so that was the best thing, because it made me feel alive. It made me happy. I was really, really content and glad and satisfied with myself. And I've been doing that for, 1.5 years, no, a bit over a year now. Um, and so, that makes me really happy. I thought it was something that I was only do. And then I opened the Instagram and I saw, oh my God, that's actually a thing, like many people are doing street photography. It's not, I'm not the only one. So yes, that was extremely empowering, and then you gain more self-confidence. It all come hand to hand.
So, from you feeling more alive and from you feeling like you felt more confident about yourself, is that what gave you the confidence also to say, okay, I'm gonna leave my job, figure myself out, and then eventually do this more like spend more time on this and focus on this?
Definitely, 100%. Because I was listening to friends and family that was saying, oh, keep the job, it's a good job, they're flexible. Yes, I mean, I was very grateful, by the way, because I had my daughter, and I had very flexible timings. So I will always be grateful. But you can't just keep a job, just because it's convenient. There is a better world out there. There is a better life waiting for you if you want to. I just didn't want to live a discreet life. I wanted to live a good life. And so here I am, and I'm very happy. And I don't think necessarily the money is a problem, because I think if you really want to do things, and if you really want to pursue your dream, you just find a way. Like, I'm now also practicing massage at home in order to be independent and get some money, and then I'm able to continue my passion of street photography. So you'll find a way if you want to. But yeah, so
you mentioned people telling you shouldn't leave your job, and so how was that moment for you? Because like, I know what that feels like, because I'm going against everything like that my family wanted for me, and I always get people telling me, oh, but why don't you? And I'm like, why don't you mind your business? I didn't ask you. So how was for you? Because coming from a situation where you were able to manage your emotions, and then you learn to manage your emotion, you had a tendency to please other people, you start to please yourself. So there were all of those shifts that obviously help you to make that move. But how was the transition for you, knowing that you had all of those people around you? Luckily your husband was super supportive, and I think that is the thing that it's most important.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to all the other people around you. But how was for you hearing from other people, why don't you do this, or are you crazy, what is this photography thing, and all of that?
So yes, many people were just telling me, maybe you should consider not to leave your job, it's so convenient. And that was the reason why I kept my job for 10 years, because it was convenient. But at some point I was, no, I'm not going to listen to anyone. I'm really bored to listen to other people. I really want to trust myself. And you know, the fact that I moved to London, I create my family, you know, like my self-confidence, it wasn't really too bad.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like sometimes I'm a bit of both, you know, like I feel like I'm very low confidence, but then it wasn't too low. Like
Right.
I know that I can do, you know, I know how much I value, but at the same time, I'm like listening too much to other people. Maybe because
Mm-hmm.
I was raised also extremely humble, which
Mm-hmm.
is a good thing, but it's also, you know, like it's
Yeah.
in line. You also need to know that, okay, I can listen to other opinion, which is I think is good because you need to keep your mind open.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you just go like that, you're missing maybe some points. So it's always good um to listen to other people, but then you really need to make up your mind and decide for yourself what's best for yourself, what's best for your family, what's best for your relationship, what's best for yourself, basically.
Yeah.
So I decided I didn't want to listen, and you were a good example. I just looked at you and I was like, "Fuck you, everyone!" You know. I told you I bought this jumper a week ago, and it was written. It's upstairs. Unfortunately, it's too warm today. I was gonna wear it for for today's podcast. It says, "I don't think so." I love I love it because it's exactly like the summary, you know, like you can think whatever. I don't think so. Whatever you think, I don't think so. I need to
Yeah.
reevaluate. Even if you say the most reasonable thing, I just don't care. And you are a good example because you just don't care. You just go with your, you know, with your
Intuition.
yes, with your intuition.
Yeah, but also because, the thing for me has always been since I was a child, but even more growing up and then doing what I do. But the thing is that way too many people feel the need to have to say something about you and what you're going through. And for me, it's like if I come to you and I share something and I ask you for your opinion, then fine. Maybe you have something to say, and maybe it makes me think about something I hadn't considered. And maybe what you say helps me make a better decision. Okay. But I really do not appreciate people just talking for the sake of it and having this desire to have you do something that it has nothing to do with you. So for me, it's like, did I ask you to tell me something about this? Like, I'm just sharing something. Or you asked me, how is it going here? I didn't ask you to tell me what you think. So, for me, it's really like, I will tell you what I think if you ask me. Even with my best friend, sometimes she's like, what do you think? Like, why don't you say anything? I'm like, do you want me to say anything? Because I could easily give you my opinion, but it's not my place all the time. And so because I don't want people to tell me what they want me to do, I really don't like that. I also think if I ask you, then yes, share, please. But if I don't, well, maybe I don't want you to say anything. And so my boundaries are extremely strong because, well, of course, because of how I grew up and having a mother that doesn't know what boundaries are and constantly trying to push them forward. And but for me, it's like, okay, so I am an individual. This is my life. You, as much as you know me, you don't know what it means to be me, and you don't know what is going on in my head, what are my fears. You don't know anything about me. You might think you do, but you don't really. So the best person for me to take my decision is me. So you can think whatever, and you can also think that I'm wrong, but okay, I'm gonna be wrong then.
Yes.
Your life doesn't change because I make a decision that you think is wrong. If anything, my life changes for that. So you know, that's my point. And I love that, you know, you learn to understand that the best person to make your decision is you, and you learn to not listen to all of the noise, because a lot of the times there is just a lot of noise from people that don't really shouldn't be saying anything
Opinionated.
about your life. Yeah.
What I also really like about our um, like our chats and our relationship was that you never judged. Like you were totally free of judgment, and I think it's connected to what you just said, because you maybe you didn't like that probably in your life, and so you are really not doing that to other people. You just want the other people to express, and you really respect that, you know. You say what you would like to do, you know. Sometimes I was thinking the same, you know, okay, Mara, help me, tell me, what should I do? I say, no, you should, you know, you should say, you should tell to yourself. It's not my place to say, you know, or to be opinionated about that. Is, you know, you just put the light. And so that was something that I really, really appreciate, because we tend to judge everyone, and it's just so tiring, so time consuming. And by the way, we're still doing it. And yeah, every time but now, of course, being more aware, like every time I fell in this like habit, I was like, no, why am I talking about why would I care about other people? Why do I even talk about other people? Who cares, you know? They can do whatever they prefer to do without judgment, and I can do whatever I prefer to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that you always did, and you taught me that. And that's something that also I learned extra from my from my long list of and I really, it's amazing how I ticked all the boxes, you know. I didn't expect that, you know. And after 6 months, I want to say that as well, like after 6 months, I was another person. I was strong enough. And I remember when I told you, Mara, I think I want to do, you know, like 6 more sessions, which is 3 more months, because it's one every 2 weeks. And then you were maybe disappointed. You were like, come, how, Georgia, you want to do more? I mean, aren't you a new person? I mean, did I say,
No,
yes,
I wasn't disappointed. I was surprised because you said at the end of the 6 months that you had exceeded your expectations of what the 6 months together were going to be. And so for me, that was like, okay, so we went over and beyond the goal.
yes.
And so that's it. That's over. And you were like, no, I need some more, 3 more months. It's like, okay, fine. It was surprising for me because normally what happens is that I help my clients set up a goal, and they get to the end of the 6 months with a major transformation, but there's still like a little bit that needs to be achieved in order to get to the goal. And so that makes sense that you want to work a little bit more to get to that point. And you might want to do it with me because it just feels more natural, and people feel like they will achieve exactly that and maybe go over and beyond because it's been a process. But for you, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, fine, and let's do
Yeah,
it.
I just wanted to, to feel a bit more that confidence, because it's a long process, by the way. It's not something that you can sort out like that, even after, still now. And you're telling me, you're also dealing with some, still some,
Always.
it's
I
an
mean,
everyday.
it always. And I think, for me, it's like as aware as I am, there's always things that will come up. And the more you level up and the more you make choices that you've never made before, and the more you release layers of the person that you no longer need to be, the more things will pop up for you. And sometimes it's a big thing, and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, it's still that thing. Like, okay, now I see it, now I can easily brush it off, or I can easily see the trigger and do that. But we are there isn't a manual for how you need to live your life. There is only making decision and try to figure out what's the best for you and how to move forward. And so nobody knows what, I don't think anybody knows what is doing, but we are all trying our best. Okay, so I want to understand now where you at in terms of like how, what do you feel emotionally, what's going on in your life, how do you, if you can compare, like you said, now Giorgia and Giorgia 2.0, like you call yourself, what is something that you can say about the whole process?
Okay, so now I feel much more like relaxed, not in a hurry, enjoying moments. I'm much more patient. I'm more like compassionate as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening more. I'm waiting to react.
Mm-hmm.
I always give it for maybe some stressful moments. I just give it 1 day, 2 days. And it's incredible because the more time passes, the more the problem shrinked. It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. It just shrinked by itself. You don't need to do anything. Of course, it's gonna be in the back of your mind, you know, because I used to always solve the problem straight away. You know, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
a client was sending an email, an annoying email. I was just send it, you know. But now, okay, something happens, whatever, a client or whatever, send an email or whatever is the problem is, you just leave it. You just leave it for 24 hours. And then you gain the patience to reply in a much better way, in a more constructive way, in a not heated way. And so everything is it's much, much, much better. Like I'm a new person. I was so afraid before, you know, and so reactive, unbalanced, and a bit like, you know, like being up and downs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was very happy, but then I was very angry and then very sad and then very happy again. Now I'm much more balanced. It's amazing. Like it's I can't even recognize me. I mean, compared to 1 year ago, really, it's that good, and it was the best investment of my life because it really changes your life. But you need to work on it. Like I really
Mm-hmm.
worked on it from
You
session
did.
one.
Yeah.
But because it's a logic, you know, you pay the money, you investing, you need to make the most of it, you know. It's like the gym, you pay for the you pay for the subscription, you need to, you know, to go. Otherwise you're gonna be resentful again with yourself because you say that you were gonna do it and you're not keeping your word. So
Right.
again, it's a failure, you know. So let's don't make more failures.
I love that you say that, but also not everybody that signs up for things, like I had clients that started in a way and finished after 6 months in the exact same way, and and it was so clear they weren't doing the work. And I am not the only one that says it. I have friends that are coaches, and sometimes you get that kind of clients where, you know, and but to me it's like the way I am, it's if I work with someone I want to work, because otherwise what's the point? And I love working with you because you really did the work. And I was also surprised, because oftentimes we were like, I know you didn't give me this, but I did this. And I loved it because it means you're committed to yourself, and this is what it's all about.
Yes.
So, how have your relationships shifted from the beginning to now? Because obviously, you talked about how you are not reactive anymore and how you take your time and you're more reflective, you're more aware, you're more calm. So, this must have had an impact with your daughter, your husband, and all the closest relationship.
Yes, definitely. I mean, my husband's is always telling me, you know, you are another person from last year, and he's really admiring me, and he's kind of starting to look to himself as well, like, and he's seeing a business coach as well, and I think he will maybe, you know, go deeper. I
Mhm.
hope, because even if there is nothing to put the light on, it's worth it to have a look, you know, just in case. It can only make you a better person. It can't be harmful. And then with my daughter, of course, it's a bit more challenging because, you know, they're unpredictable. But
Yeah.
I'm really, really enjoying time with her, and I'm much more calm. Of course, because of, you know, the parenting we used to, we sometimes I'm ending up saying the wrong things, but this is very normal, and I'm getting better. Also not to use, like, we're very used to use this negative sentences, you know, like we're gonna be late, we're gonna we will arrive late. No, you should say let's be on time, you know, like or instead of saying don't, you know, we don't play if you don't tidy up your room, you can say, come on, I can't wait to play with you, come on, go tidy up your room so we can play, you know, in a more positive. So I'm working on it because it doesn't come natural, because we used to, you know, the negative form, you know, don't do this, don't do that, don't do. Instead, you should just say to the child what you want them to do, you know, instead of don't say don't sit that way, you just say sit this way, you know. But I'm just used to that. So yeah, but overall the relationships are much better, and I'm having new friends, new relation, you know, I'm building also more relationships. Before I was more like you know, I was a bit more closed as well, you know. I wasn't really available, or I wasn't really responsive to people. Now I'm much more open as well. I'm more ready to socialize. Before I wasn't ready to socialize. I wasn't feeling, you know, didn't feel right. I didn't feel me. How can you socialize if you don't even know who you are? You know, nice to meet you, Giorgia Kelly, but who I am, you know, so you don't know what you can give, who you are, so you don't know how to present yourself. And then you kind of close in your cocoon.
Okay, I know you need to go. Tell us a little bit what you're doing now, and if someone wants to check you out, where they can find you.
So yes, now I'm starting this hobby that I really enjoyed it, because it's so creative. I opened that, like, it's not a business because I'm not earning money, but it's well, it's called GC, which is my name, so Giorgia Celi, GC Street Photography. And you can check it out on Instagram. I've got also my website, which is the same, it's gcstreetphotography.com. And I'm really, really enjoying it. It's just to be in the moment for me, you know. I take picture of unposed moments in life, and you're just there and you catch that moment, which is, it doesn't repeat, and you're there, so you are living that moment. And this is the secret, because we always living in the past or in the future, and it's a good practice to live in the moment, and that's the perfect practice, let's say.
Okay, one last question. For anybody that might feel like you were feeling when we started together, what is something that you would advise them on, what that you would like to say to them?
I'll definitely go for it. Like, just find a Mara, you know. Just find Mara. No, like, of course, it
Anybody.
depends. Some people can't maybe click with you. I don't know. I'm not gonna, you know, I don't want to kind of, it looks like I'm advertising, but it's really more about the importance, to understand the importance of a change.
Yeah.
Because life is just one, you know, and you, even if it's just for 10, we don't know how much we live, but even if I'm gonna live another 10 days, I'm so happy and glad that I lived this year and a half, whatever it was, you know, happy. So it's always worth to do some self discovery at some point in your life. And it's always, you see people saying, it's money, to same with the maybe to go on holiday, it's the money, but it's not really about the money, because you can choose, where you want to put your money. Maybe you save some money, you don't buy some, I don't know, some things which are absolutely just things, and just invest that money to yourself, because you are the most important thing for yourself, right? So
Right.
just and believe in it. When you start it, just do it. Don't start if you're not sure. When you start, you do it properly, and then you change. In 6 months you change, if you want to, of course. But yes, I definitely recommend that. It will just solve most of your problems. Really, seriously,
Okay.
it just solves most of your problems. As you take care of your body, right, you should take care of your
Yeah.
mind. Actually, I think you should take first care of your mind and then of your body, because the mind, I think, is more important, because the relationships are the one that keeps you alive and makes you make you live longer. Good relationships. So first of all, take care of your mind, and afterwards take care of your body, and then you take care of people around you, of course.
Perfect. All right, Georgia, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sharing your story. I know you have
Thank
to
you.
go
I'm really
and pick up.
sorry for my
Yeah.
English. I hope everyone
Oh,
understands what I meant.
stop. I'm sure everybody will hear, will understand everything. And if you have any question, you can always ask a question, and me or Georgia will
Yeah,
come back to you.
in writings.
All right, thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Well, I hope this episode inspired you, and I hope hearing Georgia talking about what she went through and how she's feeling and all of her journey inspired you. And if you are ready to work with me and you want to actually really have the courage to be yourself, I am here for you. So just apply. Or if you have any questions, I'm going to put in the link a discovery call so you can have a chat with me before you actually go through the application. It doesn't really matter if you don't feel you want to work for that long, but there's something there that kind of capture your attention, I have a few other sessions that you can book in. One it's called Soul Alchemy, one it's called Inner Child Healing, and one it's a human design session, which is called Designing Brilliance. And those are one-on-one sessions where you can actually have a taste of me if you don't feel ready to book for 12 sessions with me because you've never worked with me, and I understand that. You can check out my freebies, and there is so much you can do. And keep having looking at my website, because I'm always creating stuff, because I want to help you as much as possible. For me, the most important thing is that the more people I help to understand who they are, to help them understand who they are, and help them release the blockages that are stopping them from being the best version of themselves, the true power that they are. Especially women, we put ourselves down so much. We don't believe we can achieve something. We often think that we can have something but not something else. And I want to help you understand that oftentimes those beliefs that we have in our mind, those thoughts are coming from something that it doesn't even ours. It might be something that our parents told us. We might have seen our parents behave in a certain way, society, whatever it is. Oftentimes, when we have all of those blockages, they're not even ours. So this is what I am really passionate about. And if this resonates with you, please, please, please get in touch in whichever way you feel. And if this podcast, this episode has resonated with you, please leave a review on iTunes, share it with someone that might need to hear more of those things. And feel free to get in touch with me also on Instagram at the Intuition Queen. And you can share bits and pieces of my podcast. So you can share things that I share on my social, or simply just get in touch with me to let me know what are your thoughts on this podcast. The more you do, the more I can actually bring on guests that might help you to get more information. All right, all of the links you might possibly need are in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the description box. Feel free to get in touch with me anytime and share this episode again. And I will see you next week. Ciao.